This production is part of American Graduate, Getting to Work, a public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
I've always known I've wanted to farm, and it hasn't been the easiest.
When you go through such a thorough education, you will have these instincts that come out of nowhere once you're in the practice, and it's so important to trust them.
Originally, I wanted to go in and think about environmental law, and that means going to law school, which is another 4 years of school, of paying tuition, and that seemed like a lot.
Ask questions, advocate for yourself.
Now they come up to me and I answer the questions because I listened and I observed and I put myself out there.
I asked about it if girls could do it too, and they said yeah. I passed the test and then started a couple months later.
If you have the knowledge and you have the experience, that's all that really matters.
The COVID-19 pandemic has dealt a severe blow to the nation's economy, businesses, and workers. The unprecedented challenge is having a ripple effect across our state and is especially affecting young adults who are already struggling to find career pathways in a rapidly evolving and delicate economy. The disruption, however, presents a tremendous opportunity to reimagine our economy and how we develop and retain our young talent. A Path Forward explores the pathways to skilled jobs through the point of view of a group of inspiring young women and men and the mentors who are guiding them through their journey. Healthcare is one of the top industries in most states, but Connecticut adds a large device manufacturing and biotech research base to its rapidly growing medical industry. This combination creates a demand for highly specialized workers, but is often overlooked by young adults without the proper guidance from parents, counselors, and educators.
I went through a lot of different career paths when I was in high school, trying to figure out what I would want to do. It was a few of my friends that actually suggested that I should go into something where you're working with other people, and I hadn't really thought of it before, but I started looking into it, and I realized that it was something that I would really enjoy and that would probably fit my personality really well. Once I started working at the hospital, and really once I started having clinical rotations in my college career, I started realizing that I loved working with other people, with patients, communicating with patients, hearing about how their day is going, and kind of making a difference in communicating with them to have a positive impact on their day in general. That was always my goal, just to make someone's day better. I don't have the crazy aspirations, but I just wanted to have an impact on their day and their experience that I was going through with them. So I decided to continue my education at Fairfield University following my graduation from the undergrad program. And I started taking classes towards my doctorate of nursing practice for the family nurse practitioner program, just to continue my learning and also to forward my career after. I'm enjoying everything in the emergency department. I love being a registered nurse, but I'm excited to continue learning and move into more of a practitioner role. I've completed 1 year, so I have about 3 years left now.
With a long history of preparing students for careers in the expanding fields of medicine and health studies, Fairfield University's Marion Peckham Egan School of Nursing and Health Studies is quickly adapting its online learning and classroom settings to provide a practical and engaging education for students.
So they use these rooms to teach skills to the students. This room specifically is used for the anesthesia nurse practitioner students to learn their different skills. I think that they have the different ventilator settings there in that corner. But they have all the same equipment that they do in the hospital. They actually have cameras, and they'll videotape you doing your assessments and your different skills, and then they will go through and give you feedback on it. So it's completely stress-free, but you learn so much from it because it still kind of puts you on the spot. So it stimulates growth, but you can't do any damage. So that's always nice to know. Luckily, a lot of what I do in the emergency department is focused assessments. So we go through, and if someone's having ear pain, we'll do the whole head and go through all those questions. So a lot of it I've learned in practice and can kind of now apply to moving forward with my education as well.
My job here is to teach undergraduate and graduate students in the profession of nursing. They have to be comfortable with people and taking care of people. That has to be, I think, a passion that's instilled in all of us, is caring for other people. But I also think you have to look at the world around us. Nursing offers many opportunities. You can start with your bachelor's degree in nursing, which is a typical 4-year undergraduate nursing degree. So like students go to college for 4 years. You can come out with your bachelor's and work in a hospital as an RN. Our second program, which also offers nursing opportunities, is for students who went to college and perhaps didn't really know what they wanted to do, and after graduation decide that they'd like to pursue a field of nursing. We have what's called a second degree nursing program. So they come back and they do a 15-month accelerated program. We also offer multiple master's level programs, and then more recently we've developed a doctorate program, which provides extra education in the field of research. We also have sideline programs. We have a nurse midwifery program. We also have a nurse anesthesia program. And most recently, we are developing a nutrition program. Nursing has always been a very valued profession, but I think now more so because so many people are without jobs right now. Our nurses have not been without a job, and they're looking for more. So that's another reason I always get excited for the undergrads who come in. I think it's difficult to be an 18-year-old student and recognize what you want to do for the rest of your life. But if you can choose nursing as a career path, there's so many different venues to go to. And now more than ever, you see that as a valued profession where we really need you. If people aren't able to get jobs in other professions, there's plenty of jobs to be had in the field of nursing. And I get excited because you don't just have to go into the hospital. You could be someone who's interested in public health or bedside at the doctor's level and have many opportunities to take care of people on many different levels. We had to get very creative. Nursing is very hands-on, so it was very difficult in the beginning just because we had to figure out a way to provide meaningful education without that hands-on experience. Much of the education that nursing students get is in the hospital or clinical setting, and that was stripped away rather quickly related to the pandemic. So we were able to virtually use our simulation lab as well as experiences that we had built prior to go online and educate the students through a video technology that we had used prior in coordination with case studies to provide them with the best possible experience.
I started working as a new grad in the emergency department in October of 2019. And then the pandemic really started for us about in February of 2020. So I had been off orientation for 1 month and was working by myself. So it was interesting in the fact that it was new for everyone. So even the seasoned nurses that have been there for 30 years have never seen something quite like COVID. So we were all kind of on the same page, and I noticed that there was such a great sense of team in our emergency department, of everyone helping each other, making sure, checking on other people. other nurses, making sure everyone was doing okay on a physical and emotional level, that I think it brought us together as a team even more than we already were. To see the community really come around the healthcare workers and support them, because it was very scary, and we still don't know what's going to happen, but there's much more of a sense of team and community within the emergency department, the hospital, and just our general community in Connecticut as well. The one thing that I always tell new graduates that are graduating and going into the nursing field is to definitely be sure of yourself, because nursing school, you learn so much information and you'll learn so quickly that all of it actually applies to practice. When you go through such a thorough education, you will have these instincts that come out of nowhere once you're in the practice, and it's so important to trust them, because a lot of the time you're right and you could really make a huge difference in people's lives.
The opportunities in healthcare are endless, and like many other fields, learning and training are a lifelong process. Hands-on science courses and volunteer opportunities in high school can be a stepping stone to various roles in healthcare.
You're gonna have to use your values from the ones you collected.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you put 0.05. This is 5.
Well,
that's because I accidentally did 5. Well, should I just highlight the fourth one?
So that would be it. And
so
it'd
this
be
would be your
0.61.
So this would be their expiratory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hold down, and then bring the cursor all the way over there.
Okay.
Oh, I should have highlighted it. Did it highlight it? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's highlighted.
Okay. Then that should be it.
Okay, so 0.72.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That helps a lot.
You're good. You're good.
Carla,
Yes.
could you help us?
Now, what's your Y value for that?
I've always wanted to help people. That's always been something for me. You know, my parents are immigrants. They came here, well, from two different countries, Mexico and El Salvador. And I've always seen them struggle, and I wanted to help people a bit more towards the medical side, because I really love science. I love anatomy so much. The human body is very cool. And so I knew that I wanted to do something with people at that point, and this program was the best way to help me do that.
Carla's a phenomenal student. She's a great example of what our program can offer. I had Carla as a freshman for biochem, sophomore for human body systems, last year for AP chemistry, and now this year I have her as a student aide. So she's able to take all those skills that she learned throughout her first 3 years and not only help me by helping with the lab prep and everything else, but also coming in and helping the students gain that information and confidence that she exhibits. We have a wide variety of students in the school because it is an interdistrict school. We have those from Stanford and then also all over Lower Fairfield County. So we have a wide variety of students. Some of them come in specifically for the biomed or the engineering programs that we have. Others just want to come here because they see it as a different opportunity and then discover their passions while they're here. In the biomed program, we tend to have more females than males. And then engineering kind of has the opposite, that they typically have more males than females, but we've been working hard to kind of balance out those numbers and give opportunities to everyone.
The great thing about the Project Lead the Way biomedical program is that students who do decide to stay in the health sciences or biomedical field are really prepared for their post-secondary. The Project Lead the Way program, whether it's pre-engineering, computer science, or the biomedical program, are really important programs to have at the high school level. High school should be a time of career exploration, and many students will decide that they want to stay in those careers, and some will say, you know, I thought that this was something else, and I think I'm going to change. But either way, it's really important, because students who don't have any idea what they're going to do and then change their majors in college, we know that there's a cost associated with that.
So this program is definitely challenging because it's not like you get an answer, you have to do like what's 2 + 2 and you solve it. There's a lot of processes you have to go through to solve the problem. While it is really challenging, our teachers, Miss Weber and Miss Middleton, they're really supportive because you don't have to work in the hospital to be helping people. We learned a lot about mental health and mental illness, which is something I'm very passionate about, mental health. And there's all these different things that you can learn through this program. It's not just biology, chemistry, science, overwhelming. It's really, you get a lot of life in it, and that's what makes it more fun. It's not just like I have to study the periodic table. It's a lot more than that. So the school gives us a lot of opportunities. Someone came in, a speaker, to talk about the Stanford Hospital and how there's volunteer opportunities for the students in the summer as well during the school year. And I started last year during the school year and continued throughout the summer, and I'm there again. The reason I think it's cool is because I get to see what the nurses are doing. And what I love about the nurses is that they go in with the patients and they sit down with them and they have a real conversation with them. And that's what I really like. I like being able to look at someone, connect with them, and then, be able to help them.
Many come in thinking, oh, I want to go to med school, I want to be a doctor, and then through different activities and research, they discover a variety of careers ranging from an x-ray technician to an epidemiologist to an anesthesiologist. So it gives them different opportunities and different pathways. It also exposes them to the fact that not everything to do with medicine or the biomedical field requires an extensive time in education. So it gives them the opportunity to learn about options that they could start straight out of high school with some training versus something that they're going to spend the next decade or more learning how to do. Students are always inspiring, they're always motivating. It's their passions that help drive my love of teaching and seeing what they can do and what they think they can do, and then realizing what they can do because of their dreams and skills that they have.
I don't want to be a doctor now, but this program has helped me, figure that out. And I still want to go on a medical path. I think I want to become a nurse practitioner. Maybe it seems like I know what I'm doing, but I've struggled so much throughout high school. I mean, I've cried to my guidance counselor, like, I don't know what I want to do. And I think that that's so normal and that's so okay, because we're only teenagers, and to decide what we want to do for the rest of our lives is very scary and intimidating. So my parents have definitely influenced me in the way of how determined and how much drive I have. My parents, they really came with nothing. They met each other. They started from nothing, and now my dad he works with banquet service, and my mom cleans houses, and I'm extremely proud of them because what they do. I mean, I have food on my table. I have everything that I need. I also discovered another passion, which was mental health advocacy, and I would say that everything that I do partly for them. To people who don't know what they want to do, that's totally okay. There's, life is going to throw so many stuff. You might decide that you want to do something that, isn't even offered here. Ask questions, advocate for yourself. So put yourself out there. Kind of have to push yourself a little bit.
OK Industries in New Britain engineers and manufactures components and subassemblies for OEMs in medical, surgical, precision, and specialty markets. As demand for highly skilled manufacturing workers increases, their apprenticeship program has proven to successfully help them acquire and retain skilled employees.
I started working in assembly, and then we had a communications meeting, and on the board they put up a notice that they were taking new apprentices in, so I asked about it if girls could do it too, and they said yeah. So I took a test, I passed the test, and then started a couple months later. What attracted me to the program was that it was more like hands-on work, so you're like moving around more and like building things and not just sitting and stuffing a part into another one, because that was boring to me. So it's more like you gotta think more. I'm about a little over 2,000 hours in. So I've been here for about almost 2 years. Being the only woman in here has been interesting. A lot of the guys were like kind of hesitant, like to just talk normally, but I'm not like a girly girl, so they warmed up to me and it was fun. For me, it was just weird getting used to working with only men, but I like it. I was like the first one the company had in here, so they were all excited about it. We make fixtures, dies. We do scissor blades for like the Da Vinci surgery robots. We sharpen those in the grinders. The punches that I polish are for like a surgical device that staples.
The trade is advanced with technology, and so it's still a learning experience. Even 30 years later, I'm still learning things. You have to realize that they're starting from ground zero, and things that I think are easy might be complicated to somebody who's never done it before, and they might be a little nervous about not being able to solve a problem. Alexandria has been a pleasure to work with. She has a good attitude, positive all the time, and she's eager to learn, and she's not afraid to ask questions. And I like showing people what I know. I don't, when I'm retired, I want as much knowledge as I have to be spread to other people so that they can keep our country going. I don't want to take everything I know with me. I want to leave it behind.
I like working with him because he's very like hands-on teaching, and like you can ask him all the dumb questions and he'll answer all of them. It's never like too many. He likes to like show you, so like he makes you do the work when you have a question like how do I do this? He'll make you do it yourself, which is I think the best option for learning. And he's always helpful. He always has like advice. My goal is just to have like a solid career, so because I'm a single mom, I want to like provide for my daughter and give her like a stable home and just make sure she's taken care of and good. And this is like a good opportunity for that because you can always grow, you can always earn more, you can always learn more. So, and then I want her to see that like girls don't have to do like, they don't have to be secretaries or whatever. Like you can do the dirty jobs. They're still fun. Like girls can do whatever. So I want to like be a good role model for her. The main thing when I feel like just quitting or anything, just going home, like I just think about her and what she needs. Like she depends on me. I'm all she has. During COVID-19, we were considered essential, so I had to come in all the time, every day. Same thing. Nothing changed for me, but my daughter's daycare closed, so I had to scramble to find childcare, so that was challenging, but it worked out most of the time.
The apprenticeship program takes 8,000 hours to complete. First you have to learn how to use all the equipment in the tool room, the millers, the lathes, grinders, and heat treat process also, and then so that enables you, that's just like a foundation for you to make parts and to make tools for the customer that are required. And the program, even though you finish your 8,000 hours, it still takes a long time to, a few more years to be proficient at it, because you have to troubleshoot complex products and stuff to meet the customer's specifications. So it's definitely an interesting field. It's always something different. It's never the same mundane things that you do day in and day out. But it's definitely a hands-on experience. It's different reading about it and then actually doing it, People can make 6 figures salary, that's pretty good. for being able to, work with your hands.
When I first started here, I had a hard time reaching out for help because I was like really shy. For me, it was kind of difficult to just go up to someone that is so like good in the trade. I don't know anything because I started from scratch. I had no experience, so at first it was difficult, but now I feel like I can ask people questions. For anyone else that's like unsure of what they want to do with their life, like if they're looking to switch careers, like I never went to college. I graduated high school. I married my high school sweetheart. That failed. And then I had nothing. I came here and just kind of winged it. But you don't really need college experience. Like I was just never sure what to do, so I never went. But then I came here and got this opportunity.
To learn more about education and training opportunities for high-demand careers, visit ctpublic.org/American Graduate.
This production is part of American Graduate, Getting to Work, a public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.